All right. We are live, folks. We are live. If you want up, Damien, come on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Discussing Tabletop for January 14th, 2017. Of course, it is a wonderful Saturday once again, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Glad for you to join us. Today, I have with me my guests, of course, my normal guest of Joe. Well, wrong side. I have to remember which side to point to him. And I've got my new guest for this week, John, who runs the They Said, We Said over on YouTube. You can plug yourself at the end of the show a little extra. That's, of course...
I will.
Yes. It is an option I give all my guests. Not that I've had a huge amount of them. Anyway, so...
I appreciate it.
So for today, this week, we have an interesting lineup as usual. First off, we have the Aether Revolt spoilers have come out, and, we're going to discuss those. That's a good one to talk about. After that, we are moving on to... We're going to talk about the new banned and restricted list that has come out for January from Magic the Gathering. So that's interesting. Some things that have actually been banned in Standard. After that, we're going to talk about the Artificer in the Unearthed Arcana. It's a new class for Dungeons & Dragons that they've put out their Unearthed Arcana. They're testing. So we'll talk about that. Then I want to briefly talk a little bit about the Munchkin, the card game. They're doing a collectible card game. I want to talk about that a little bit, because that's an unusual thing that we want to discuss. After that, we're going to move on, and we have Stories from the Table, which is going to be the strangest theme for anything we've made on the tabletop. Whether Magic the Gathering deck, another collectible card game, a character for a game, anything like that, weirdest thing you've done. And then we have, of course, a Gaming Sage Advice question, which we will ask at the end of the show, filling it out to the end of it. So let's start, of course, with... Why don't I start with a little news from myself, just a little bit of updates on things. Of course, we're going to have next week's show. I do not know if we're going to have the show after that, because that's when I'm going to theoretically be at PAX South. So I don't know what's going on with that, and if I could arrange to have it. I would have to probably be on my phone and have someone else take the reins of the show, i.e. someone over there named Joe. I'll have to see if that's possible. If it's not possible, we won't do it. But if it is, great.
I might have to charge you a small fee.
Yeah, I know. So we'll see about that. I'll probably give some updates from PAX South, because I'll already be a day into it. But it might be a different time, too. I'll keep everybody updated on Twitter. Remember, I'm at Dracovin on the Twitter. I'll keep everybody informed about what's going on for that week. But we'll be next week as normal schedule. All right. Channel should be normal about everything, pretty well. I'm going to try to keep up with the schedule for the channel for that break. I don't know right now if I'm going to. Going to try to. All right. Let's move on to the topics, though. Big thing, because it was the pre-release, I think this weekend, was it? I believe, for Aether Revolt?
Yeah.
They have all of it spoiled. Let's talk about what we've seen in this. So the thing is, I've looked at it, and I've already said, I've seen things I like about it. I liked the what is it, the planar, not the planar portal, the planar gate. That's something I really liked the idea of, because it wouldn't replace it in every deck, but I use planar portal in a lot of my, my decks. Oh, the planar bridge, I mean. And there's plenty of decks that I can see replacing planar portal with a planar bridge. It's already 6 mana. 8 mana is not much more. By the time you're actually getting it out anyway, usually. And there are definitely a couple other really cool cards I've seen already. And it seems like it's expanded upon a lot of the themes it definitely had from before very awesomely. I like this, Exquisite Archangel. I'm in white right now. If you lose the game, instead, you exile it, and your life total becomes your starting life total. I think that's cool.
That's very nice.
Control, man, it's gonna take over.
I've been a lot about control with a lot of my decks, that's the thing. So it's I feel like it's fitting along with a lot of the themes I already had.
It definitely seems like we're gonna have a big shift from aggro to combo and control with this format.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't hit a lot of standard often. I make standard decks, but I don't usually get a chance to play them. It's usually just for, I have this block, I want to make a deck out of it, you know? So, because I haven't gotten both sets of it, I haven't really built one together, but I'm going to make a Kaladesh / Aether Revolt deck, at least one, maybe a few. You know, and that's sort of what I do. But yeah, I just don't have a chance to dive into the metagame of standard very much. But it does look like it's got some really cool things.
Well, I think
I'm kind of. Go ahead. Sorry. No, I was just gonna say I was. Oh. I'm not very good at this, guys.
I know. Go ahead, John. We'll go John, then Joe. How's that sound?
Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I make the decks, you know, I like goldfish and stuff, and I'll have quite a bit of, like, people, like, coming over. You know, we have a lot of game nights and stuff, so that's, like, I do some F&Ms and some game days, but I tend to go more of the, like, off-the-beaten-path budget route. Like, I've made, most of the decks I've made on my channel have been all about combating the copter, so now that I'm out of work with that, I don't know what to do next.
Yeah, all I was going to say, other than you and me, Matt, none of the rest of our group really gets together to play Magic often, and we don't even do it that often, so...
It's been an unfortunate thing that we have a lot of people that we know that play Magic, but we don't have a lot of chances to meet and play Magic.
Yeah.
Makes
Part
sense.
of getting older, unfortunately.
It affects all of our gaming. Yeah. I mean, I like the legendaries that I've seen, too. The legendaries that they have are pretty cool. Scram, I would love to have that in an enchantment, an aura deck. In the aura decks like that they have from the past too, that would be wonderful. Brawl's great in anything that you're doing, you know, instance or sorcery decks. What's his name? Because I can't remember it, because I'm terrible that way.
Yeah, Scram kind of fits right into the Bruna EDH decks. Oh my god.
Yeah. I still have from when they did the Plains Chase decks. I kept one mostly intact, the enchantment one. I kept it mostly intact. If I got him, I could put it in there. I've only, like, edited it with a few things that I felt like, you know, oh, this will improve it a lot, you know? Oh, man. Yahani? I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. The one that whenever a creature opponent controls dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. On my creature murder control deck, that would be pretty good in, because he'd get really big. And you could always I could sacrifice things to make him indestructible if you needed to.
Is it non-token, or is it tokens count, too? I'm trying to get to him real quick.
He just says sacrifice another creature.
Wow.
One other creature an opponent controls. Because my creature killing control deck is all about creating tokens and then sacrificing those tokens to effects that kill opponents. Things like Grave Pact and giving things -1/-1 counters and stuff like that you sacrifice creatures to.
Well, going old school, a plague deck.
Oh yeah, plague deck. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
That would be awesome.
I think looking at it now, I feel like the weakest so far is the red one, who's neat, but not great. She's cheap. She's a first strike menace 1/3. But she puts a 2/1 monkey into play attacking, too. That's exiled at the end of combat.
And who doesn't
have menace?
Oh, does the monkey have... Oh, the monkey has... Yeah, the monkey doesn't have menace.
Yeah, it's a Nombo. Oh my god.
Why isn't that monkey menacing?
No,
that one, such a bad card.
Matt, that's because the seagull instead of the monkey.
Yeah, I think that's the weakest one, because even Rikshar, the green one, each creature you control has a count with a +1/+1 counter on it, gets tapped to add a green mana. You can make green is great for making I throw counters on everything decks. So of course, that's like, well, now all my stuff also taps for mana.
Yeah, doubling season, I'm looking at you, jeez.
Oh man, yes. Wow. Oh man.
Isn't that a reprint then? Doubling season?
No,
Wasn't there
I
a
don't.
doubling season before?
I don't think double. No, he's saying just using it with doubling season.
Oh, I was gonna say
Yeah.
like
There's another one that does for counters only, not on tokens. I can't remember what it is
Right.
now.
Scales or something. It came out in cons.
Yes, because there was one like
Yeah.
in the original Innistrad block that came out for creatures, wasn't there?
Parallel Lives, yeah.
Yes, Parallel Lives for creatures, and then yeah, there's the Scales one in cons. So
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that's really what becomes like gross for Commander, because then you're like, I've got both of them out. You know, I can get a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, Morath. You put that in a Gavi deck or Morath, whatever the wild, the Naya commander. That's ridiculous.
How about Riss, the one that Riss the Redeemed, the one that doubles tokens?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
You're like, I'm technically
Yeah.
doubling tokens, but no, I'm actually tripling tokens. Oh no, I'm actually quadrupling tokens, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Yahini myself personally, just because that slots into Vampire deck that I run in Standard. Also slots into what is it? Oh, like this Servo kind of aristocrat-y deck I have with like Zulport Cutthroats and Servo tokens. So that one's just like a slam dunk for those.
Joe has a vampire deck too, so that might actually go great in his.
yeah,
You run a black white or black red?
black white.
Okay, yeah, I do the Rakdos version, but
No,
nice.
There's a cat monkey in green. That's all I have to say. There's a cat monkey.
Look, Joe.
That came out in Kaladesh, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's in the new set that I'm looking at. It.
Well, I think there was a cat monkey in normal Kaladesh too, is what he's saying.
Oh.
And there's
Okay, I didn't
prob-
notice that one before, but this, I'm just like, wait, why are cats and monkeys breeding?
I'm sure whatever these bandars are supposed to be both cats and monkeys at the same time, and you know they just have another version of it to hang out with a Johnny because he's a cat man too. No, I'm just interested to see if, because of Dark Imitations, we're not going to see another Nicol Bolas in the next one, a different version of him. Because
He's definitely, yeah.
Because it specifically mentions a Bolas Planeswalker card.
Right? Oops.
Yeah, I know, it's like, what are you planning?
Well, it notice the on the what do they call the masterpieces or whatever?
Yeah.
For Planar Bridge, you actually see the Nicobolus horns in the art. So it's like,
Yeah, the Dark Imitations looks like he's using that planar bridge, and something is coming through it.
Yeah.
So, I mean... Yeah.
I mean, Wizards have messed up before, so who knows?
It might just be that they wanted to hint at this, you know? That's the thing. It's like... Because, I mean, we knew a Johnny was coming in this set because they showed him in the storyline at the end of last year's storylines, you know, at the end of when they were doing all the normal Kaladesh ones. And they're like, oh, hey, a Johnny. And we're like, I guess that means he's showing up. And Tezzeret, I guess we're going to have card versions of them if they're showing up. So this might be a way of them showing, like, oh, hey, this is a little bit of what's coming up in the next set. Just like a little hint. Which is definitely...
So can I just ask about, there was that like flying dwarf in the last set. It was like 1 and 2 white. It was a 2/3 lifelinker vigilance, right? It was like vampire lighthawk, and now we have gifted Aetherborn, 2 black for a 2/3 death touch and lifelink. It's like we have the pieces of a vampire nighthawk. We just couldn't staple them all together.
It kind of is. It really is. Yeah.
I thought that was really bizarre.
I guess
With your powers combined,
it's sort of like we're gonna reprint something without reprinting something for once, you know, or alternate versions of them because they love doing that. It's sort of like it's the same thing, just different name. I mean, they've done it so many times. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can reprint like Thoughtseize, but we can't reprint, Vampire Nighthawk.
It could have been like Aetherborn Vampire Nighthawk or something, or just call it some, they have Aetherborn vampires. Call it something else, you know?
Yeah.
Do they only have the one? They only have.
Well,
the one?
it's good to see that we get vampires though.
Yes, even though it's technically that one or was there more vampires, and I'm just not missing.
There's more. Yeah, most of the Aetherborn are vampires.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I still have to catch up on the storyline because I was reading through some of it and I've only gotten through like 2 of these stories I already have out, so I'll have to see how that goes. That's another thing, you know. It's like not only is the set really cool, it's as when I talked about this before, the art is just awesome as usual. They have really gotten to a great point in time where they got like a great group of artists making everything.
I just saw the cat monkey, Joe.
He stole some stuff.
Yes.
That's hilarious. Oh, man.
I've heard of a brass monkey, but never a cat monkey. I think that's a funkier monkey.
Oh.
The monkey jokes will continue on for a long time now because of cat monkey existing.
Yes.
We have to thank Cat Monkey for this.
Did you see the flavor text? The flavor text is, it was right here a second ago.
Yeah.
Are they talking about the monkey or my wallet? Like, what are they talking about?
I think it's talking about your wallet because it says at the beginning of your upkeep you move any number of +1/+1 counters. Oh, from it onto another target creature? Wait a second.
Yeah.
Two, and then it gives other creature +1. So is it stuffing things into your pocket? It's a closet.
I would think,
what the hell is going on?
I think it would make more sense if you could move counters to it. But you're taking counters from it. What?
He's the redistributing monkey.
Yes. You have to keep
What?
It should be able to steal and give.
Oh, man. We're having way too much fun with this uncommon.
Yes.
Cat monkey.
Actually, no, it's a common.
It's a common. It's even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Even better. Even better.
Look, I have had so much fun with, what was it, Giant Badger or something? Which was like the most wonderful badger token ever for the oldest days. And then Werebear from, I think it was Odyssey. Because its quote was, it has the right to bear arms. Yes. And Magic won the day. Magic won. You're breaking up a little bit.
Was that old enchantment from Mirage. Okay. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, gun.
Yeah,
you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I forget the name of the card, but it was like a 1 white, 1 green enchantment, and it showed the art is like them burning down like a town behind them, and then the guys are just like pointing to a thing of gold, and he's just like, the flavor text is, "I'm sorry I burned down your town. Here's some gold."
Well, that's better than what our one friend did in a game, which was he destroyed a town and then demanded them to pay him for saving the town from the thing that was going to destroy it anyway.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? I still saved your town. I destroyed the invaders.
Yep.
You still have to pay me. It's like, but you completely wiped out our village. Our treasury is now one giant pile of melted gold. Anyway, sorry.
Yes, that's fine. Let's hear. Ooh, God. Paradox Engine. I just noticed this one. Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control.
Yep. That's a beast.
Like, just the insanity you automatically would do with that with an elf deck. You could have, like, a bunch of, like... Or like, anything that untaps lands. You know?
Yeah, Cryptolith rights. Look at Cryptolith rights with that thing. That's insane.
Yeah. It's like, as soon as you get stuff that you like can like combo in getting extra mana from, it's sort of like, well, you know, or the legendary green. Oh wait, no, a bunch of my like artifacts tap for green mana. Oh, I play a spell. I can untap them all. God.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. That's a crazy one. There was.
Well, if you looked at if you got a chance to look at Sam Stoddard's latest article on the motherboard or on the mothership website, he basically said that he feels like he said he's not 100% confident with telling us that something will not get banned. That like cards aren't already on the radar that are going to get banned from either revolts already. It's just like, oh my god, yeah, ridiculous.
Because I also like Gonti's Aether Heart, the one that when it or another artifact enters the battlefield, you gain 2 energy, and for is that 8 energy, you can take an extra. You exile and take an extra turn, but still, that you can just be like, well, I'm not going to take my extra turn, but it's just got such a great potential for like those energy decks. You don't need to take the extra turn.
Yeah.
You could just build up a lot, especially because it just says another artifact. It does not specify non-token. You could have artifact token generation with it.
Ridiculous.
Yep. There was, and I don't know where it is now. I swear I seen a vehicle other than the legendary, the Heart of Kieran. I saw a different one, and I can't find it now because I'm blind. Oh, there it is, the Peace Walker Colossus, the one that can make vehicles become artifact creatures for white and colors.
Yes.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, it's like, okay, so it can't make itself a creature, but oh well. It's like,
right.
I can just crew vehicles with mana now.
Yeah, I mean they kind of nerfed the whole deck though with the banning, but we'll get to that later, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. The banning in standard definitely has hurt it a lot. I mean, granted, you could still function under because it's not in anything beyond there, but still, it's not like Legacy or Vintage. But that doesn't mean a lot if you're just sticking with what's normal.
Well, what I don't understand with banning in standard is like, hey, we came out with this card, but you can't use it.
Yeah.
Right away. It's like, well, why'd you even come out with the card?
I think it's they design something and then they don't always see the potential in things, because you have to consider there is like combinations.
You don't see the abuse right away.
Well, we've got a good chance to talk about everything that's in Aether Revolt. I think why don't we move on and talk about the banned list now, because that's probably a good point. Because I talked about like a Johnny and Tezzeret a little bit previously because they've spoiled them pretty early, So the big banned and restricted list, it was only a bunch of bans, it looks like. 3 bans in standard and 2 bans in modern. Okay, the bans in modern, that's understandable. Things happen when you're building modern decks. They come up with stuff and they're like, yeah, we can't have these in modern. But the standard ones, Emrakul, Smuggler's Copter, and Reflector Mage. Why don't we start with Smuggler's Copter, because that's the vehicle one. It's whenever attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do so, discard 1 card, crew for 1. It's a 3/3 for 2 mana. Apparently, they claim it's too efficient. It's too good in too many diverse decks. And I kinda understand that a little bit, because I guess what it means is because you can play it for 2 mana, it's a crew of 1. That's really easy. And it just means that you can cycle cards quickly in your deck. And that's, I think, the problem, is you're cycling way too quickly. It speeds up format that they didn't want to be quick. That's the only thing I can think about it.
Yeah.
Reflector Mage. Now that's another one. Go ahead.
Well, real quickly, just to go back to Copter, it was a card that they printed to be the poster child of the new mechanic, right? So they wanted vehicles to be a thing. They wanted vehicles to be a competitive thing. So they just pushed the envelope way too much. Like, it's like unprecedented. I don't think like, Collected Company didn't even get banned. Like, it took over the metagame that much to have to give it the axe, which was just insane. I think it was 65% of tier 1 decks in any kind of competitive tournament were running the full playset of Copter. So it was just absolutely ridiculous. I understand why they wanted to push this card, because it was like the flashy thing for this new mechanic, but they should not print a card to take over. The last time they banned something was Stoneforge Mystic and Jace the Mind Sculptor. So that gives you some kind of perspective on what they did here.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, when I think about it, most of the times you hear, like, updates to banned, it's something like, modern, or something that's, like, new into legacy or vintage, which those are, like, usually, like, something restricted is added to that, more than anything. But, like, this was, I haven't really heard about banding in Standard. Granted, again, I'm not as up to date with it, but you don't hear about it as much. And it does seem like they've done a few things that they're regretting? ? But yeah, the Smuggler's Copter. I did not, like, it's like, I don't think when I looked at it, I realized the use it could have until, like, they talk about it, and then you're, like, looking at it more, and you're like, oh, I see this now. Yeah. So, now they also, as I said, got rid of, Reflector Mage. Which they're saying it makes blue-white decks too powerful. It's been players' list on most disliked card. Apparently, it's been on the players' list of most disliked cards since the days of Collected Company, which I didn't know it was.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Looked up 6 cards, 2 creatures. Until enters the battlefield, return target creature opponent controls to its end. That's kind of weird, though, too. It's like, I look at that one, and I guess it's annoying, but I don't know. Like, I don't see the annoyance that they're really pushing it as far. I mean, okay, I bounce something to someone's hand, and they can't play it their next turn. Okay,
right.
If maybe they had a play set of it, that's something. But if they have maybe only 1 or 2 and they don't have them in their hand, I just don't, I guess it's, other than being annoying, I don't get the banning part of it.
Well, of the 3 standard cards that got banned, this one was the biggest head scratcher to me, because it just seemed like the timing was way off. If you were going to ban Reflector Mage, ban it when it was oppressive, when Collective Company was in the format, because that essentially gave it flash, with the Collective Company. It itself doesn't have flash, so if you're going to ban something in blue-white, make it like Spell Queller or something. That's a far more oppressive card, in my opinion, than Reflector Mage. I didn't get this one at all.
Yeah. It seems like there's some kind of combo we do not know about that seems popular.
Yeah. Fair.
Or they know about and they don't like. It's something I'm not recognizing at this point in time. And I guess it's another way of flashing him in. Because apparently they want to weaken the blue-white flash deck. And that's the entire purpose of this. So I guess there is big use in a blue-white flash deck still. And that's the reason they're doing it. Yeah, I agree.
The timing just seems really funky to me. Like, get rid of it when Collective Company was around, or don't. Like, I understand the other 2 bannings because they were completely taking over the format, but this uncommon is not. It's not that detrimental to the deck.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, even with their explanation, you sort of understand it, but it doesn't hit me as much. All right, why don't we talk a little bit about Emrakul? Because, I mean, it's Emrakul. They banned Emrakul in tournament decks. So, again, I guess because I feel a couple of reasons is, first off, it costs 1 less to cast for each creature type among the cards in your graveyard. All right, if I'm not playing a tribal deck, and a lot of my things die, heck, it's easy to get it out then, you know? You gain control of target opponents during the next player's turn, and after that, the player takes an extra turn. So effectively, you steal a player, they get a turn, and then they attempt to recover from you screwing them over, if they have a chance to. And it's got flying trample. Like, I think it had both those before, and it just has a set of protection from colored spells. It's got protection from instants in this new version. So, other than the fact that it could be very easy to play, I mean, it is ridiculous and it is a powerful card. I guess the way they describe it is they feel it was too powerful for Standard, as there wasn't much to compare it to. But wait a second. Did they put... I don't remember because I didn't hear it. Did they put a band on... Because is Zendikar still in Standard, isn't it? At least until... at least until Amoket comes out. So isn't Ulamog and Kozilek still out there too?
Kozilek. Yeah.
I didn't hear
Kozilek's shit. Alright, Kozilek's bad, but Ulamog's good.
But see, the thing is, they're still pretty powerful in general. Yeah, one's maybe better than the other, but I didn't see either of them get banned. So I don't... Again, yes, I vaguely understand it, but again, it's a little bit of like... Okay?
Well, this is the one that, like, this one looks really bad for Wizards, right? Because Emrakul is literally the face. She was the big MacGuffin of Shadows over... She was the Shadow over Innistrad, essentially. So when you're banning the literal, like, box art, you know, besides Liliana, of a set, that looks horrible. You know, that looks like probably some people in development team probably lost their jobs over this, because yes, no one likes the Mindslaver mechanic. Like, if anyone, you know, played during Mirrodin or you know, original Mirrodin block, like, Mindslaver mechanics, losing control of your turn is the most unfun thing in Magic's history. Like, players already hate the taking extra turn mechanics, but what's worse than that is taking someone else's turn. And she was way too easy to cast with the whole delirium push. You know, talk about, like, you know, like we talked about Copter with the vehicle thing. This was kind of the same thing. She was you know, you had all these things to enable delirium. Well, this is why. It's because Emrakul comes out and it's a lot easier. This was just like a huge black eye on Wizards of the Coast, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. And again, it's sort of like, I understand that they're saying that she's hard to deal with in a late game and ended it very easily. Okay, yeah, I get that. You know, but I'm pretty sure anything equivalent in size would, or even close to it. If, like, in a late game, I put out, like, a 9/9 flyer... I don't know if there is anything, but I mean, granted, by that point in time, it's sort of like, well, deal with this. I guess that it's just...
Well,
go ahead.
But it was just like, in this kind of standard format, if you weren't playing Emrakul on your top end, you weren't playing Magic right at this point. That's why, because, yes, there was still Ulamog and Kozilek, but you don't see them in top tournaments, you know, top tables and tournaments. It was the fact that you could cheat her out early and how powerful she was. She was hard to deal with. She had protection from instants. It's one of the last cards printed with the protection mechanic, because Wizards has since kind of moved on from that. But yeah, it was just absolutely ridiculous. Like, you're going to see the same decks, like Delirium decks and whatever. They're not going to replace Emrakul for Ulamog just because it doesn't make sense, you know, mechanically, as far as cheating it out fast. So it's just... It was way too pushed. It was way too powerful, and they knew what they were doing. And like I said, stapling on one of the most unbeloved, you know, what's the original Eldrazi got a lot of crap for having the Annihilator mechanic, because everyone hated the Annihilator mechanic. Oh yeah. But again, what's less fun than Annihilator is Mindslaver. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, it's you hate these things, but then again, you know, it's like, I talk about these things, but I know I've played with them. I have the Mindslaver in my artifact deck because it's one of those, I can win a game with it. I never use it, but I have
Right.
it, you know?
Yeah.
And
But it's not a tier 1 tournament deck, right? Like,
oh my god.
You're not going to play that. Yeah, you're not going to a pro tour and having to play against Mindslaver, like aggressively playing, people trying to Mindslaver you for 3 days straight, So it's a little different.
Like, I think, like, a couple of my decks might do okay in, like, I don't know if it was Vintage or Legacy tournament, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
right.
It's like, it's more for, fun and multiplayer is all I build decks for usually. And it's like, I understand a little, definitely where they're thinking about why they're doing it. But again, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the big thing from that entire, it's the focal point of an entire block, technically. We didn't know about it. We didn't technically know about it until the second one, but oh well, it's the focal point. It's like
that's pretty bad.
Something's fishy in Innistrad. Oh wait, it's Emrakul.
Yeah. Let's ban Tezzeret and Chandra in Kaladesh. It's just like, what?
Yeah, it'd be the exact same thing. Now, why don't we talk about, just briefly mention the ones that were banned in Modern. Gitaxian Probe. That's one I've known about for a while. It's the Phyrexian mana one. Look at target's player hand, draw the card. So you could always pay 2 life for it. It increases the number of third turn kills in a way. Okay, that's why they say. Apparently, I'm not sure how this gives a third turn kill, but okay. I guess because
it's just too efficient.
I guess because you can do it for free. You could be like, I pay 2 life, blah. I look at your hand and replace it, and that's really good. And they banned Golgari Grave Troll from Ravinica too, where it comes into play with a +1/+1 counter for each creature in your graveyard. You can move a +1/+1 counter from it to regenerate it, and it dredges 6. Okay.
And they just unbanned that last year.
I didn't even know they unbanned it. Oh, so they unbanned it and now rebanded it.
Yeah, they unbanned it last year. I believe they unbanned it the same day that they banned Splinter Twin and what was the other one? They banned Splinter Twin and Summer Bloom to get rid of all the Titan Bloom decks. And so that one again just looks like egg on your face, but whatever. But the Gitaxian Probe, they're always going to ban these like Ponders and these just like super efficient draw spells. I think banning Gitaxian Probe was just like the basically saying, okay, the Phyrexian mana thing was just way too much. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see more Phyrexian mana cards get banned, and dredge cards for that matter, because they tried to unban Golgari Grave Troll, and then look what happened. Dredge became the most powerful deck in the format.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's like definitely, like, I built a Phyrexian mana deck. I have one still. That's like, it's pretty ridiculous if I can get started on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely understand the Gitaxian Probe and the Golgari Grave Troll. I mean, it's like, I find it funny. I didn't know that it had been banned and now it was rebanned.
Yeah.
Something I did not know. And I look at, like, they say, like, they like give 2 card examples that are like, these work very well with it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can see that. Yep, I can see comboing with that, with Dredge itself really badly, and this is like the ultimate example of Dredge. So okay, yeah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Yeah, and Phyrexian mana, it breaks the color pie too much, because you could just run it, and what's to stop you from running it in any color deck? Like, I have a Eldrazi Tron deck, and it's completely colorless, but I have 3 copies of Dismember in it, because who cares, right? You're just paying the life.
Like, I think the stupidest thing I did in the Phyrexian mana deck is, what was it, Pristine Talisman, the one that taps for colorless and you gain a life from the same block. I just play set of those, so I'm like, I'm gaining life anyway, and there's and
right.
since talking about how old I am at playing Magic, since there's no more mana burn, I can just tap it anyway to
wow.
Yeah, it's like, I can just tap and gain life anyway, The mana will just be there. So, I mean, heck, I have the life to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so why don't we move on, though, and why don't we talk a little bit about D&D's Unearthed Arcana with the Artificer. So, if none of you are familiar with the Artificer, it is an Unearthed Arcana from Dungeons & Dragons, which is their, of course, playtests, which you can use in your games if you want to. They warn you. They are technically being playtested. They give out surveys like the next Unearthed Arcana you can fill out if you've been using them at all. This one's all about inventing things. You get magic item. Well, first off, you can identify magic items. That's a cool one. You get a specialization, which they have 2 types of. We'll talk about those in a minute. You get magic items. At certain levels, you just get them. At second level, you can get a bag of holding, which, sounds like something not great, but consider this. When you really talk about what loot am I carrying for a character, a lot of times, especially I felt in 5th edition, grabbing a bunch of little things here and there is how maybe you're going to pay for some of this stuff. Like, money's not as important, but it comes down to weight a lot of times. Bag of holding compensates for a lot of that. So that makes it very valuable there. They get spellcast.
Yeah, I can testify that with the character I created for the game we're going to be running live stream on Sundays. I was just looking at my starting stuff, and I'm like, because I was going for a thief/magic user, so I kind of dump statted strength. And I'm looking like, I can't carry half the stuff that I come with on me on a regular basis. So bag of holding would be awesome for that reason.
But yeah, they get spells, and they get a robotic servant, a mechanical servant. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's like, and it's kind of a form of some kind of beast.
Yep. And
you could revive for the most part, unless it's utterly destroyed.
Which is cool. It costs you money, but it's cool.
Yeah.
And their 2 specializations are alchemists, which, create alchemical items, have their own, things like alchemist fire, acid, stuff like that. Or gunsmith. You get firearms. You can make smoke powder.
Yes. And this is why I'm seriously...
You mean I could actually be the gunslinger in D&D for once?
It's the closest thing to it, because the thing is, in Forgotten Realms, even in Forgotten Realms, they had guns and smoke powder, which I don't think they've talked about. Well, they haven't, I think, directly done a lot of... They've indirectly done stuff for Forgotten Realms in 5th edition so far. But they haven't directly done it. Because that was like an older thing anyway. It's always supposed to be... It was Gond who gave the gnomes of Lantan. Right? Lantan?
Yep. Lantan.
Gave them smoke powder, and it spread across the world. And other places like in Spelljammer, which was what I'm going to be running, smoke powder is pretty common. So it's like, of course, yeah, there's going to be guns and stuff. I got to deal with that. But this was, I heard someone that worked on it say that this was made for, let's say, I want to introduce firearms to my game because I'm used to it from Forgotten Realms or from Pathfinder with the gunslinger. Excuse. Reason behind it. So it's like you don't need to have a gunslinger. It's you can tell your character you're not allowed to be that if you don't want them to be gunslinger. It's like you can say that to them. You can be like, be the alchemist. Mm-hmm. It's what you would allow as a dungeon master.
I just want to be rolling from the Dark Tower.
You kind of can be, I guess, with that one there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely opens up guns for D&D, but it really makes being a gnome, especially, what is it, rock gnome?
Yeah, the ones that are supposed to be tinkerers.
Yeah, this is perfect for them.
That's true, because, you could always be something that would reflect a little bit of their tinkering nature, like a wizard or a sorcerer maybe, but it didn't reflect it fully, and that this does definitely show off the tinkerer gnome side. And it's like, as someone that, as I said, I'm trying to do the Spelljammer, the Spelljamming gnomes are all tinkerer gnomes. They are the masters of tinkery. So it's like, how many of them are going to be artificers in my universe then. Or at least, just by the general class, because it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I was originally looking at doing a thief sorcerer for your game, and now I already took the level of thief, and I'm like, well, instead of taking a level of sorcerer, artificer would be more of what I was going for. So I'm probably going to do that. This is a really cool concept, and I'm glad they came out with it.
Yeah, I think they said they were going to do another class of archetypes and stuff, but they decided to put this one out instead, which I don't know if it's, as we talked about before the show, does it relate to the fact that, sorry, brain fart for a second. Wizards is doing Kaladesh and artifact stuff on the other side. It could. We don't know what campaign settings they're going to reintroduce, because they are talking about, they reintroduced Ravenloft. Are they going to do something else? Maybe there's a actual 5th edition Spelljammer along the way. That would fit with it. Or more in-depth Forgotten Realms. Again, it would fit with it if they're doing something to do with Lantan or they're planning it. The options exist in such a way that I almost feel like it's not just one of these reasons, actually. Because they've oftentimes had little trickiness in the ways of doing things. Especially, like, what was it? I didn't even realize this. The material component for Detect Thoughts is a copper coin. A penny for your thoughts.
That is cool. I didn't realize that either.
I saw someone point that out the other day, and it's like, oh, you guys do stuff on such levels sometimes. It's like one of you comes up with something clever, adds it in, and we don't notice it for like ever. Because it's so subtle. But it's there. So that's why it's like, there could be so many reasons behind this. They had to have been working on it, because it's like, they're working on this stuff for a while, developing it. So just the question is, how long, and, what does it mean?
Well, like you said, like I think it's Wizards has been trying to marry Magic and D&D a lot more lately, so I think it's a slam dunk. It's not a coincidence at all that now you have gnome artificers, where you have the big thing is artificer in the newest Magic set. I think it wasn't an accident.
No, it's true. I think what they're trying to do is for like the longest time they were keeping like D&D and Magic at arm's length. But now they're not trying to, like, mesh them together. They're just trying to be like, we're close enough to each other. We're related. Mm-hmm. Because I guess they feel like their fan base can do both, finally, Because I guess that's, like, I did hear about, when they originally got D&D, there was talks of, like, having D&D-themed sets and stuff, and they didn't want to do it because they were worried about their fan bases and stuff. They're beyond that now. They still control a good chunk of both these markets, both role-playing and collectible cards. They got their corner.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, the whole reason that Magic was even created was Richard Garfield wanted a game that you could play in between your major tabletop games. That's just kind of like a space filler. So now they're kind of remarrying that. I think it has to do with the new CEO they got probably over at Wizards. He probably saw an opportunity and he wanted to use it to marry the sides closer. It's not just like robbing Peter to pay Paul. And now it's Peter and Paul could love each other freely.
And a lot of their art has just become like, we talked about the Magic art, but the Dungeons & Dragons art, it's a similar kind of reflection. So I feel like they've, rather than just have like a pool of artists for each, they have a pool of artists for wizards, almost, that they can pool upon.
Right.
And they've like this a much more unified style. Because if I look at a lot of Dungeons & Dragons, it looks a little different, but you can see some of the similarities in the way that they depict the art just a little bit. That they have just like it's close. It's like not like right up against it, but you can tell like the styles feel similar at least.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I think the artwork in both has really stepped up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting, and I did like one of the people that worked on D&D. This is just a little side thing that made me think of with the art part of this conversation. That he said, because like if you look traditionally back in the old days of art for a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of times, if it was something they could make sexy, they did. They really did. Now they're being equal opportunists. So now, rather than just having sexy chicks, they have attractive male and female characters, especially like in their monsters too, or something. You know, they're like, because they're like, you know, everybody always did a succubus, but rarely did an incubus. This time we did both. You know, so you get both types.
Joe, are you a sexy gnome?
I don't know what I can't remember what his charisma is, so I don't know. He might
actually had a decent charisma, I think. Let me.
Nice. Yes.
13, so above average, not like sexy.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yep. I don't think I've played.
Bringing sexy gnome back.
I don't think I played a decently. I don't think I've played a decently charismatic character since I played my evil politician bard, because that was fun. Because I would give inspiring speeches to everybody. It's like, if you kill those guys, you will do it successfully, and this is the way it shall be. Anyway,
you were like the Littlefinger of D&D.
I really was. I would sort of like,
that's cool.
Just give my speeches, inspire the team, and then occasionally run into stab stuff, and then when I got injured, strategically withdraw to an area to heal up before I could once again help.
Nice.
Strategically, yes. You mean tuck your coattails between your legs and run away.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's called a strategic withdrawal. So the Artificer does look like a cool one to check out. I definitely recommend at least giving a look over if you're interested in using it in one of your games or maybe playing it. See what if you're trying to play with it, just see what your Dungeon Master sees. Because it looks like it's a Constitution and Intelligence based class. Interesting one.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, at least those are the good saves. All right.
True.
Why don't we briefly talk about the Munchkin collectible card game? It's supposed to come out this year. There is artwork for it online. I see this artwork.
It's way too cute of an artwork. I'm sorry. Not that Steve Jackson hasn't done some cute artwork, but this is like over the top, like cute. It's just it's sickeningly cute. And it makes me think like My Little Ponies kind of thing.
Oh. It's going after the brony demographic?
Possibly.
I do see. I see a little bit of what Joe is talking about. I do see a little bit of the classic Munchkin artwork too. It's like,
kind of a combination of it, but they definitely stepped up the cartoony cute level.
Yes, I do see like just the promo image of the cards that they did, because they've shown a couple of cards and stuff, and they've got like their big like promo board for it. It's just wow. It's supposed to come out this year. It's supposed to be competitive level play. It's for 2 to 4 players that turn after turn put loot in play to give themselves benefits and attack or bluff attacks against one another. You eliminate other players first and you win. So it is basically head-to-head player. Okay, the card game will be distributed as fixed 2-player starter sets and randomized booster expansions, because it is a collectible card game. So it's the standard fare, starter sets.
I think it's a money grab. Really?
I definitely.
I don't see the need for it.
I half agree with you there. I do agree. I do not see the actual need for it. There are a lot of collectible card games in the market, but then again, as we've seen, other stuff can break into the market. I mean, as I've expanded my news show, I now have added in, like 4 other collectible card games that I can actually talk about. I've only talked about one of them, because literally since I started doing that, only one has had an actual release. But still, I've included... I will include talking about the Pokemon trading card game, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Card Fight Vanguard, which are the 3 other big ones other than Magic. And I should, because it's a tabletop news program, I should talk about them all. But for this one... So I'm okay, but that's the point is, it can't break into the market. Okay. Money grab. Yeah, of course. They want to get more money, definitely. They've been putting out how many Munchkins now? I love them, but they put out so many. I'm way behind. I haven't been able to keep up with it.
And and that's fine, but the thing is, it's already kind of a collectible card game in a way. I don't see the need to create a second card game version of it.
I would call it a card game, but it doesn't hit that collectible. Because the point of the collectible is like, I have a set of cards, I'm trying to do something to collect them. It's an effort. You know, it's like with Magic or any of the others, you get boosters. This one, there aren't random boosters. There are boosters, but they're all the same for normal Munchkin. You know, it's sort of like mini packs or something that they started coming out with. But they're all the same. Sure. You only need to buy one. So, but it is an expansion-driven card game.
Why redesign something that already works so well?
Good point.
That's the other big point I will agree with you on. It's another version of a card game that do we actually... It seems similar to a lot of the other card games. I think the card games that break into the market oftentimes come up with something that's unique to them that makes them popular. Sometimes that's, you know, mimicking a popular video game or mimicking a popular anime. For certain 2 of those card games that I mentioned before. Probably 3, actually.
Yeah, and the thing is also, one of the great things about Munchkin is you can pretty much have as many players as you want to have. This is also limiting the players now. So I think that kind of takes away from the game that's already exists.
It's true. We can have massive, ridiculous sized games of Munchkin as long as we have enough sets together. Granted, it plays like crap because you have like billion turns that you're going to do and you have so many people to go through, but it's not the worst.
Right, but it's nice to have that option if you have a large amount of people and you know, you have a little bit amount of games that can suit them. It's like, oh, well, we can pull out Munchkin, or we can pull out something, you know, along those lines where you can accommodate for that many people.
Sure.
This is going 2 to 4 people.
Well, again, I think Munchkin normally recommends 2 to 4 people, so we don't know necessarily how it's built, if it would work with more than 4.
Yeah, I mean, we've done it more than 4, and it still works.
Yeah. It
just takes longer.
It's horrifically inefficient, but it works. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they will make, but I'm holding my breath because
I don't think it's something I'd buy into.
I don't think I have the money. If I had extra money, I'm probably going to buy a normal Munchkin set that I'm behind on.
Exactly.
I still am behind on some Magic cards that I want to buy. So, let alone that, I mean...
And Munchkin has branched out into so many other things. I just don't... I think this is an unnecessary step.
Munchkin's branched out to an insane amount of things. Are you kidding me? I'm surprised...
Munchkin Panic. Munchkin Smash Up.
Oh, those even. I was just talking about the normal sets. They've come out with Munchkin themes for everything. They're actually coming into... They're like branded themes now, too. It was what? There was like Munchkin Marvel, Munchkin Nightmare Before Christmas, Munchkin
Penny
Oz.
Arcade.
That was a pack, but still. You know, it's branded stuff.
Yeah, they have so much already. I just think this is something that's, you know, taking a step of, okay, why? Is there anyone out there who really is demanding this?
Again, hard to say. Someone might be somewhere. there might have been something that they did to see about popularity, you know? And if it proved to be popular enough, I could see them actually doing it then.
Yeah.
It's a question of just how popular it is. I think I'm behind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm like 8 core sets behind on Munchkin, something like that. Did I get Munchkin Pathfinder and Munchkin Marvel? I think I got those. God.
You got Pathfinder. I don't know. I don't think you got Marvel. I know.
Did Colin get it? Someone.
Colin got Marvel.
He might have.
Because we tried that out in the last game day.
So then I'm technically 9 behind on core sets, let alone, expansions. God. It's been a couple of years since I've actually been able to buy any decently.
Right.
Oh. Yep, okay. So why don't we just end it there, that we know about it. We're suspect of it. We're going to find out what's going on with it a little bit in the future. So we'll have to see what's going on with that. All right. Let's move on to stories from the table. So for this one, I'm asking the strangest theme you had for something from the table. Strangest theme ever. This could be a character you came up with, whether you played it or not, a deck you came together, or just something else at the tabletop that you came up with that was very strange, weird, and unusual that you actually used. Why don't we once again start with our guest? Go ahead, John.
So I talked a little bit about this the other day. I have a very small, I played D&D like a lot for like a year. And then I just the guy that I played with all the time kind of moved away, but he knew what he was doing, and he let me think I did. But whenever I was DMing, I always based my campaigns off Coheed and Cambria songs, if you remember them. It was a lot of fun. They're like for those of you who don't know who Coheed and Cambria is, they're like a rock group that's all like they're like theater rock, so all their albums are connected to like a major underlining story, and so I thought that was cool. So I made all my D&D themes for after their songs. I also try to incorporate as much other kind of like media that I was into my campaign. So like I would do like Sword of Truth stuff. So like you'd run into like Richard and Callan sometimes, or I would do some like I said before, like gunslinger stuff. So I wouldn't kind of break that bubble, but it would always be like a guy in a cowboy hat in the distance with his python. But those are kind of the most fun things. Like I said, it was fun for me, but they kind of just let me go and do the stuff. And like the traditionalists, I guess, they're like, oh yeah, that was actually pretty fun. Can we do John's campaign again? Because it's kind of just like off the beaten path. So I had a lot of fun with that. And then of course I made some just wacky ass like EDH decks. And I as far as EDH goes, I'm more of a Johnny. So I just kind of go off the beaten path and just make these ridiculous decks. But that's pretty much it.
Cool. Joseph? Or
well, Throg kind of comes to mind.
Yes.
What was he? Half troll,
half ogre. So technically,
half ogre.
So he was the race half ogre. So he was technically quarter human, quarter ogre, half troll.
Yes.
Nice.
Which he was just a beast, and was very, 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 very stupid.
Yeah.
And I remember the first game when the rogue came up to me and he's like, I will call you Giggles. And it took the character like a minute to process that.
By the time you processed it, it was like long gone, whatever that would mean. You're like, huh?
Like, wait a minute. I think that was an insult.
Nice.
Or I think also strange would have been the what was the crystal people?
The Nerids or the
half Nerid, half
Gem Dragon.
Gem Dragon, which pretty much was kind of broken because it made him immune to Sonic, which was the Naren's weakness.
And without getting into too much detail, it did get into a conversation about your crystalline reproductive organs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because we needed to have a conversation on that. And the thing is,
got there.
we were having the conversation when our GM entered. And and so he just...
It heard what they said about my jug.
Oh,
It's multifaceted.
oh God.
Yeah, I've had some interesting, strange characters along those lines. And then there's the silly games, like I had a monk with masterwork wooden fists.
Yep.
That sounds wrong.
He lost his fist, so he had to get wooden ones that he had to punch with then.
Nice.
Well, they gave me +1 to attack.
They were masterwork.
Hard to eat.
So, other than any kind of silly game, because those characters end up silly and weird, I think the silliest character this is one I just didn't have a chance to play, was I had a merfolk that was on the land. Because they technically are amphibious and technically have a land speed. But I built one based around the idea of being a cleric of the travel domain, and the travel domain gave him extra land speed. I gave him an alternate merfolk ability giving him more land speed, so he ended up... Oh, and then he got a spell which lasts an hour per level. So I was hoping at, like, if I would actually get a chance to really play it at higher levels, it would last most of the day. But even for the hour that he would have it, at first level, he was faster than the dwarf. Faster than the dwarf, faster than the halfling, faster than the gnome. Fastest merfolk ever.
The sexy gnomes.
Faster than those sexy gnomes.
Well, they were in high heels, so of course they were faster.
And the merfolk can't wear high heels. He can't put shoes on his tail.
One giant shoe.
You know, it's like, I think about silly decks, and there's a few of them that I can point out that others have done, and a few that I've done. Like, others... How about Kevin's squirrel deck? A squirrel-themed deck.
All he really...
We've all...
Squirrel.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like the weird theme decks that you make. I know I've made a few... Chad's ape deck, where he called it his Plan of the Ape decks, and he never did, but he wanted to put one legendary human in to represent Charleston Heston.
Awesome.
And he had the it was definitely nowhere near tournament legal, because it had the orangutan that you could tap 2 apes to put an ape into play from Unglued. So he just had his apes mating all the time in the background. It was like, oh my gosh.
Nice.
Oh, unglued cards.
He had limited options for decent ape cards that would really make a great deck. So, I think, like, what's the weirdest I put together had to have been, I did a, what is it? What was it one? It's like on the tip of my tongue what it was called. But I'm like, I've been forgetful so much today. Whee!
I mean, I've done some strange artifact decks. Of just like, I'm going to combine a whole bunch of random artifacts, and it has no sense at all, but it's somehow, that deck never lost, but it never won. It always came to a draw.
Joe, we're this close away to being able to make our cat monkey deck.
Yes.
Yes.
Look, we have a friend who has a cat deck. We had a friend who had an ape deck. Combine them! Cat monkeys!
Boom! You put the peanut butter with the jelly, and you got the... Yeah. Ridiculous, people.
I prefer chocolate and peanut butter, but still.
It's still.
You got your ape and my monkey. You got my monkey and my ape.
I think what I have to say is, like, some of the original incarnations for some of my decks were just weird. The ones that I have now, I built them just so strangely. They've evolved so much. Like, I think, like, the original inspiration I had for my zombie goblin deck was this weird little deck that another person I knew back in high school played, who used the same card I used, Drownews Crusade, that turns all goblins into also zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
I built an entire deck around that concept.
Nothing's more fearful than a zoblin.
Yeah, and I can change. And with conspiracy, I can change everything into zoblins. And when with Mogcatcher, I can search for Ulamog wearing his little goblin ears and throw him out into play.
Oh my god.
And then he can become a zombie with the other conspiracy, since I'll have both out in play, and they can put some like dripping, rotting flesh on top of him, and he can be like, "I'm hanging out with you."
And then you can put artifact, or you can put equipment in that deck, and you could have a lead Zoblin deck.
Oh god.
Oh man, that one stunk.
Yep. Right, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Great one. Oh.
Got there, man.
Oh.
I'm here all week.
It's just like it's when you come up with an idea and run with it, it can just be so great sometimes, and then it can be like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why did I make this weird combination? Because I can.
Which brings me to our gaming sage advice for this week. Is when we're talking about coming up with these strange ideas and beyond, where the heck do you draw the line when it comes to making anything on the tabletop? Where do you say, like, this is stupid? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I have a point in time where I will say I draw the line. I will share that in a minute.
Mexican Batman.
Mexican Batman was none of our characters. It was someone
know,
else.
But that's where you draw the line.
He should have drawn the line. I agree. He made a specialized character from Pathfinder called Vigilante, which I have never experienced the class before. I let him pretty free rein it. I'm like, sure, this sounds cool. But he decided to play it up as if he was both Batman and apparently, like, Zorro at the same time. So he was Mexican Batman.
And he jumped through every window, even if it was unnecessary. The way Vigilante works is you have a aristocratic character, or at least that way he did was aristocratic character, and then you had your kind of like superhero type character. And the way he introduced his superhero type character was he broke in through our window of our room that we were renting at an inn. And we ended all up attacking him and almost killing him because there's a random weirdo jumping through our window.
Granted, they had met the aristocrat, and he had warned them that a friend of his was going to meet. He didn't say he would be busting in through the window. The amount of problems that caused have made that game unplayable anymore, because I'm like, they were infiltrating a town to, like, overthrow the leader of it, who was, like, doing bad stuff. They managed to put him on alert, like, 10 times over.
It was the knife bandit that threw that dagger into that random person and killed him.
Did he at least do the voice? Was he just like, I am Batman?
He was doing, like, a bad... Yes, he was. He was doing a bad Mexican Batman voice. Because the thing is...
I'll allow it.
It was a bad Mexican accent. It was a bad Batman. But it worked together great.
Allow it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Oh, it was. I'm not saying it wasn't hilarious. It was just. It was like it was the wrong character for the mission completely. It was like, this is not appropriate for this game.
Yeah, if it would have been a silly game, it would have been a great character.
I could have told you. In serious games, I could have seen this actually work too. In certain ones. Not all of them. There were some, but this was just way out there.
Now, one that I personally did that I didn't rein it in enough was my half giant monk that became a vampire.
You let him get out of control completely and utterly, and
I shouldn't have taken vampire. Mm-hmm. It was also the DM's fault, though, for letting us kind of
cheat over.
You had to level. Well, yeah, because you had to level up the vampire side, and he kind of let us do that quicker than we should have, so we
Missed the
did
bad
take
stuff.
the negative things.
Yeah.
And just got all the benefits of being a vampire. And I was already kind of gross as a half-giant monk, and that just really broke everything.
Because the problem was you were a glass cannon. And granted, I boosted you as a glass cannon to attack. Vampire didn't really add a lot to your attack ability. It removed your glass part. So you no longer were a glass cannon. You could absorb much more damage and like survive through a lot more crap than you used to.
Yes. Now, one character I did do a good job of drawing a line in the sand was my artificer in Pathfinder, which was a third-party
Yes.
third-party I
Class.
can speak today. Class, thank you. And they could be easily broken, but I reined him in a lot. I didn't allow myself to go for the broken things because they could cast both divine. Well, they could make inventions of both divine and arcane.
Yeah, anything.
From any spell list, and you could combine even
all
the
your
same
inventions
spell
into
technically into one. And I would do some combinations, but I wouldn't let it get too ridiculous. The only thing I did get a little ridiculous with is there's supposed to be a point where you can only use it so many times a day before you're risking breaking the invention. And I kind of did get a little overpowered on how many times a day I could use an invention.
Because it becomes skill checks, and you got your skill to be a ridiculous level that you could keep using it over and over and over again. An insane amount.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, your artificer was a great example of a possible ridiculous thing that you reined in. As John said, you actually have a great example, or you just like you usually run with the crazy.
Yeah, I'm an equal opportunity weirdo, so.
I think the prime example for me that comes to mind, where I built something, I made a character, but I said to myself after I built it, no, I can't play this. This is stupid. Murder Wagon. Murder Wagon. I named him Murder Wagon. I made him this big burly guy that he carried around a wagon behind him with a ballista. And I gave him all the abilities that he could fire it like a normal crossbow a turn. I actually was able to build that at pretty low level. So he basically could have been like, twang, 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 twang with ballistas at short range. And I made him a rogue so he could like sneak attack with it. Because why not?
God. What made me think of?
It's like, he's like, twang! I literally thought of backstabbing with the ballista from Gamers, the original movie.
That's what I was just thinking.
Nice.
I thought
Nice.
that's what I aimed for.
Beat up
But,
on
but I like looking at this and I'm like, why did I make this? Because I could? That's not a great reason. Now, if I'm going on the stupid side rather than unplayable, is that someone came up with the idea using like the stupid rules from Pathfinder that you could be a what is it? An animal that speaks, and you could take classes then. Apparently, they've got rules for it for some reason. I made Gooseberian.
That sounds horrible already.
It's a goose that's a barbarian with a battle axe. Because he can carry it in his wings or something because of, like, the magic that can make him speak allows him to, like, hand stuff with his wings. So, Gooseberian. I actually put
I would have made Howard the Duck in that one.
I think someone said I should have.
I'm just thinking of the Affleck duck coming at you with an axe.
That's the thing.
Nice.
It's like, so we were talking about that thing, and someone like dared me, and I'm like, I will do it. And so I literally like spent like 2 hours figuring out how to make a Gooseberian, because it's like you have to figure out how everything works for that thing. And then after I'm said and done, I'm like, why did I do this? God.
Awesome.
Because you were dared to.
Because someone said I couldn't. Yes, it's effectively what it was. It's like someone like, that's a bad idea. You can't do that properly. Guess what? I can.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I can.
America.
America. Hey, we had someone talking about another player that's done something that they shouldn't have in a game, which was corrected, was the unicorn on a bank heist.
Oh, God. God, make it go away. Make it go away.
We specifically knew we were going on a bank heist. And our
Unicorn monk.
That's right, he was a unicorn monk. And our game master gave people the option of playing anything. Like, he gave us rules for playing monsters and stuff. Someone chose to be a unicorn.
And they're large. We're in a goblin-run city.
No, it was a kobold-run city.
Oh, kobold, that's right.
And we were
smaller.
Yeah, we were supposed to go through the sewers, which should have been medium-sized at most, because apparently they did have some medium-sized slaves, these kobolds. But of course, it would still be more built for them. But it was a large unicorn, so the game master fortunately was nice enough to make all the sewers large then, so the unicorn could fit.
No, I thought he just made him medium.
Oh, he made him like a pony unicorn or something.
Yeah, he was like a medium unicorn instead of a large unicorn.
And then he's in the bank heist, and then he's trying to like open up stuff with his mouth. Like,
he was trying to open up a coffin. Or sarcophagus, I guess you would more say, because it was sewn slab on top. And he's trying to open it up with his mouth. And he sets alarms off because he drops it.
Because it's a unicorn.
It's like, why were you trying to open up a sarcophagus with your mouth?
Oh my god.
Just leave it alone.
I'm so glad when everyone convinced him that he should not be a unicorn anymore. And he made a much better character afterwards. He's like,
although he did stab someone with his horn.
He did impale someone with his horn.
See, if I had people like you to play D&D with, I'd probably still be playing. This sounds fantastic.
It's the stuff like that ends up. It's wonderful, and it's the point where you can pull back from the edge. That's the important point that we're talking about. You have to recognize when you've either gone too ridiculous or too overpowered. Sometimes it doesn't happen. You're lucky when it does, and everybody else doesn't have to point out, hey, wait a second. This is a little... What?
This doesn't work.
Why are you a unicorn on a bank heist?
A monk, right? Unicorn monk.
It's like...
I mean,
awesome.
Wasn't bad for the unicorn part, because, yes, you get flurry of hoof.
Well, we were discussing why.
Oh my god.
But he was also, like, lawful. Why was he on a bank heist? He's like, he's getting money for the monastery. He's acquiring money for the monastery because it's desperately poor or something. I don't know.
And what kind
he was Robin Hood?
Yes, he was Robin Hood. Oh,
what kind of monastery trained a unicorn?
Oh my god.
How do you talk?
Well, it's technically like a talking horse anyway. I mean, I'm pretty sure unicorns speak something. Oh, talking horse.
And why did we let him come along?
I don't know. Why did we let him on the bank heist?
It's like, we're doing a bank heist. Hey guys, let me join.
Well, no, we weren't even recruiting people. Someone was recruiting us, and there happened to be a unicorn there, and people were like, "Look, you were a leprechaun." So it was like, "Is that unicorn with the leprechaun?"
Oh my god! Wow.
Like the leprechaun, at least could sort of make sense.
In a bank heist, hell yeah!
Yeah, he's like, "Look, my pot of gold isn't big enough. I need more gold in my pot."
And I pick people up with my magical shillelagh.
Oh, God.
Or my curmudgeon, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the curmudgeon. The best misplay of words I have ever done. Where we were playing the Xbox D&D video game, and I was a cleric and got a cudgel for my character that was powerful magic, and I'm like, ooh, I got a +1 curmudgeon! And then we kept playing, and everybody realized what I said. It took everyone a minute to realize what I had said.
Stop using me as a weapon and get off my lawn.
So we're like, I picked up a man and was beating people to death with it.
Oh man.
Misplaced
Awesome.
words. That's also a great thing. The quotes for that maybe should be another topic for another day. The quotes in games. I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but we like have a compilation of quotes that we've put together from the stupid crap we've said over the years. There's those that like, there's those that are wonderful in-jokes. You know, that are like, okay.
Since we write it down, we normally don't put it in context whatsoever.
And then there's
so
those...
we look back at it, and it's like, what the hell?
There's those that you, like, share with other people. And you don't get, like, the laugh-out laughter, but you're like the, why was that said? Like the quote, bees don't hurt rainbows. Because that was an important thing for someone to state. Why?
It's true.
Because apparently someone was trying to use bees on a rainbow.
Oh my god.
No. It's an enemy who can use bees to attack with.
And a person transformed into a rainbow, yes. So
Yes.
It was like...
She's like, bees can't hurt rainbows.
Fact.
Fact.
Thank
you,
Africa, for having a goddess of beer and rainbows.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
The Zulu nation has Baba Mwane, she's the Zulu goddess of beer and rainbows. We learned that one thanks to a friend of ours.
And going in that theme for 1 second was also, I could lubricate you ... with beer.
See, that one doesn't need any it sounds so horrible. You don't need a context of what happened for that to be said. But it sounds so bad. It sounds the worst thing you could... Like, as soon as you say that, bad things come to mind. It's like, instantly, it's like, why was someone going to lubricate you with beer? What kind of lubrication? And for what purpose? But it was like the question about it, too, because there was that pause. It was that, I could lubricate you... with beer?
I lubricate my insides with beer almost every day.
Yep.
Or Mike, ride me like a pony.
Wow. Is that the unicorn?
No.
That was a completely different game.
He this one here was injured at death, and our friend had the spell Heal Mount. So, he had to, of course, become his mount.
Yeah,
oh my!
Allow you to use it, but you have to mount him you have to ride him like a pony in real life.
Well, that was what our GM said. Okay, our GM was being a dick.
And that's when I looked at Mike. I was on all fours and I'm like, Mike, ride me like a pony.
But we'll
Remember when I said I wanted to play D&D with you guys?
We'll have to go over quotes more. We really will. Because we have a million of them, and that should be a different story for a different day. But I think this has been a good point to end it now. I think we're good for the show.
It's riding me like a pony.
Exactly. It's a great place to end it. All right. So, of course, normally VOD for this show will be up on my channel in a couple of days. I also said I'll probably have a vlog out either this week or next week talking about PAX and everything else with the schedule, kind of detailing that since that trip is coming up 2 weeks for me. And again, I am nowhere near prepared for it when it comes to getting videos together for it. I want to be, but I got sick this week, and I'm glad I was able to keep up with videos for this week with how sick I got. You know, I had a terrible cold on Wednesday, was unable to do, like, virtually any work except a little bit of editing. So, great. Cool. So, I think that's everything we need to go over this week. Again, we usually discuss, if you want to check out some news stories that relate to a lot of what we discuss on these shows, Gathering the Rolls on Tuesdays. Next week we'll be here at the same time. I do not know, John will probably join us another time. Not sure if next week, but again, we'll probably hopefully have him on as a guest again. Why don't you plug yourself, John?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, guys. It was a pleasure. You can find me on the YouTubes at They Said We Said. I'm also one of two of the hosts of the weekly Walking Dead show, Dead Guys Talking. I go by Johnny Walker, and then all my magic videos on YouTube as well. I go by Orzov Dunn. You can find me at MTG Amino at Orzov Dunn. Also on Facebook on the They Said We Said official fan page. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Joe, as usual, I assume you have nothing whatsoever to plug.
No, not at all.
Sexy gnomes!
Sexy gnomes.
Yes, sexy gnomes being ridden like horses.
That's all we need. It's all we really need ever. It's
you have a mic? Just drop it. Drop
it. Mic drop. Wham. Sexy gnome. All right, so I guess that's it for this week. I've lost my mind if there's anything else to say. So I guess we will see you all next time. Have a great day. Have a good day, and bye-bye. And, of course, farewell.